Is my channel changing? Why do I want to reinvent myself? I hope you'll stay tuned for some exciting and fun information on how to have your best 2024. Well, good morning, YouTube friends and family, and welcome to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader. If you are new to my channel, my name is Kym, and I will tell you also, this video is going to be a little different than what I normally do. So usually I'm busy gardening or cooking or canning or crafting or dealing with my chicken girls or something like that. But I wanted to bring this to you because it really spoke to me, and I will have to look to see what channel it was, but I happened upon a channel and it was talking about reinventing yourself. And I'm like, reinventing yourself? That sounds like being something you're not, right? So I do have some talking notes, y'all. So if I look down, that's what's going on. So let me tell you what this isn't. This isn't New Age manifesting. I'm not being critical of anyone. I'm just saying that's not what this is. The channel is not changing. I am not having a midlife crisis. I am still myself for sure, but I want to be a better version of myself. I'm not trying to be someone else, and I'm not trying to emulate someone else or copy someone else simply for views. That's not what this is about. Really, being your best self is not a competition with others. You're actually competing with yourself to be the best person that you can possibly be. So I was thinking about this being the fourth quarter. We're on the wind down, right, of 2023. And y'all, I'm going to tell you, because we have so many new subscribers, this has been a rough year for me. I've had worse. I can say that. And there have been a lot of blessings, but there has also been a lot of challenges. So I want to share with you a little bit of my story of this year and why I'm thinking about reinventing myself to be the best me in 2024. So for those of you who have been with my channel for a long time, you've traveled the journey with me for this year, and it's been kind of a rocket ride. So, but for those of you who are new, let me just share with you. My mother passed away June 29th. The last 6 months of her life, you know, sort of from Christmas on, she was still living in assisted living, but they moved her into the memory care unit because my mom had vascular dementia. And my mom was having a lot of, I hate calling them behaviors, but they were behaviors, symptoms of her dementia. So she might lash out at others, say things that were very out of character for her. And let me tell you all, when you're going through your growing up years and even your young adult years or your later adult years, you really don't envision becoming the parent to your parent. But that's really what happened. My dad passed away 13 years ago, so I had been caring for mom and meeting as many of her needs as I possibly could for many years. But with her memory issues, she was no longer safe at home. So at any rate, mom kept falling, kept breaking things, and had to stay in a rehab facility, not a drug rehab facility, a physical rehab facility, a skilled nursing facility, after she broke her hip and was not making any progress and could no longer walk. And, you know, that was kind of the beginning of the end. And it's never easy to lose a parent, y'all. But my mom wasn't living anymore. You know, she always knew me, but her quality of life was very poor, and hospice was a great answer. And my mom slipped away, and she's now free of all of those challenges. I thought I could do this without crying. I think I can. What happened, I mean, everybody that loses a parent is going to grieve, right? Of course they are. But what happened for me is that I felt a little lost. I am a nurse of 42 years, a registered nurse. So my personality is that of caring. And all of a sudden, this daily thing that I did, sometimes twice a day, with and for my mother was gone. And y'all, my apologies. This is supposed to be a happy, helpful video, not a crybaby video. I remember at the funeral home, they usually give you about an hour, just to make sure that everything is arranged and your person looks the way you want them to. Do you want to close the casket, leave it open, etc.? I remember thinking, what am I going to do? Who am I going to take care of, right? Wow. And the answer to that is I need to take care of myself, right? So that has been a huge adjustment. I also lost a very dear uncle last month. It's just kind of been one thing after another. And I've had a lot of health challenges this year, guys, too. And I don't mean to be like, oh, feel sorry for me. But having chronic illness, and that's why I'm the Wellness Homesteader, stress plays a big impact on how you're doing in life in general. So I've shared this a long time ago, but I thought it was worth sharing again. And I will leave a link in the description box below, because y'all, a lot of you on my channel were all, in a similar age group, or we may be experiencing similar things. And Dartmouth did a study about life changes and their impact on you developing a serious health event. So what it is here is it is a little grid. And if one of these events occurred in the past year or is expected to occur in the near future, copy the number in the score column. If it has occurred or expected to occur more than once, multiply the number by the frequency of the event. So let me just highlight a few things. Death of a spouse, divorce, jail term, death of a close family member, which gives you 63 points. I've had 2. Personal injury or illness, marriage, fired at work, retirement, change in health of a family member, gaining a new family member, change in financial state, death of a close friend, mortgage over $20,000. That is a stress. Foreclosure, son or daughter leaving home, outstanding personal achievement. So not everything on here is a negative event. A lot of these things can just bring a lot of life change and therefore probably raise your stress level. So the second page of this is scoring the life index change. And I'm just going to read to you very briefly. The body is a finely timed instrument that does not like surprises. I like present surprises. And I'm not asking for anybody to send me anything. Any sudden change, stimuli which affects the body, or the reordering of important routines that the body became used to, can cause needless stress, throwing your whole physical being in turmoil. So here's an example, y'all. I wear an Apple Watch. My Apple Watch knows my routine. So for about the first 45 days after my mom passed, every time I got in the car, my watch would tell me how many minutes it was to the assisted living, because that was a huge change. So for the last probably 90 days, I pretty much went every day to see my mom, because that was what I felt I needed to do. So back to the thing. It will tell you if you have 300 or plus, the likelihood of illness in the near future, I've also seen it called a significant health event, is about 80%, guys. The higher your life change score, the harder you have to work to get yourself back in a good state of health. So I will leave this below, and I really encourage you guys, even if you just do it on the screen, you don't print it, it will give you an idea of maybe why you're feeling how you're feeling, or why your health is giving you a problem. Now, y'all know I was wearing an elbow brace and going through some numbness in my fingers. That has pretty much resolved. But I've kind of been going from joint flare to joint flare to joint flare, which, again, if y'all don't know, lupus is an autoimmune disease that is not well understood, where your body develops antibodies and turns around and can attack your joints, your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, and I primarily have joint effects. So back to, why are you reinventing yourself? It's really about being your best self. It's not about being someone you're not, or, putting on a show for others. That's not what it's about. So let's think about the word reinvent. So reinvent. So it's something that's already been invented, i.e. us, right? We're already here. We're already our own people. So reinvention is taking something that already exists and improving on it. So think about a washing machine. So first they used washboards and wash tubs. Then the wringer washer was invented. Now we have front loaders that steam your clothes and sanitize and do all kinds of really, really cool things. That is a reinvention. It's still a washing machine. So in other words, you're still yourself. You're just improving on areas that you think you have an opportunity to grow and expand. So I came up with a few tips on how am I going to reinvent myself. So if y'all remember, do you remember this book, My Planner, My Brain? I faithfully use this, guys. But at the beginning of the year, I went through and I set a bunch of goals: spiritual, personal growth, health, family, relationships, money, career and business, fun and recreational goals. So I sat down and I took a look, and let me tell you what, I fell very short, but I still have a quarter left, right, on many things. And a lot of my plan was focused around my mother. And when that was pulled away, instead of putting effort into some of the other areas, I kind of floundered around, guys. I don't know if you've been able to tell, but I really have floundered around. So I've refreshed my mind on my goals. I may modify them, and that's perfectly fine to do. So what are some of the things that might help you if you want to have the best possible 2024? Whether you want to call it self-improvement, whether you want to call it reinvention, doesn't really make a difference. Number one, ditch external influences that are making you sick. So, I have to tread carefully here. Sometimes in our life, we pick our friends. We don't always pick our family. So maybe y'all have someone that's a little toxic to you. Is there a way that you can approach them differently, or limit contact, or set some boundaries? Being a carer by nature, I don't always set good boundaries, and sometimes people will mistake kindness for weakness. So I have had to put some limits on certain influences in my life, and I'm not talking about like my immediate family or anything, but things that have been a little bit toxic to me, that I'm like, well, I need to be the bigger person. Well, if it's making you sick, or guys, are you filling your mind, and I'm pointing to the television, with things that give you anxiety, that make you fearful, that make you stuck? So I've shared before, not channels I've ever shouted out, but there are a few that I have unsubscribed to because there's a lot of fear mongering. There's a lot of, I'm sure they believe it, but a lot of false information that can cause unnecessary stress and anxiety for me. Do I still watch crime TV? I don't watch any TV. Do I still watch crime sleuth YouTubers? I do, but I've also pulled back a little bit on that because it can also make me have more anxiety. So whether if social media is toxic to you, and guys, it can be. Let me tell you, some of the comments that come across my YouTube channel, I'm like, do you kiss your mother with that mouth? I mean, they're horrible. They're horrible. And I just have to pray for those people that they will see the error of their ways, that they will realize that they're unhappy and be able to reinvent themselves so they're not trolls on my channel. Just saying. Along with ditching those external negative influences, I would encourage you to pause and take stock. So, having had a few flare-ups of joints and my lupus symptoms, I've had some downtime, guys. I have not been as far ahead on my YouTube videos, and it's given me some time to go back and reflect on my goals, where I am, how I arrived here, and actually journal it. So if I could give you one piece of advice that might be super helpful, is there is something very cathartic about writing down your feelings. You can be honest with yourself. You don't have fear of judgment for others. And when you put it down on paper, it can bring you so much, first of all, get it off your chest feeling, but also clarity. Like, wow, you know, I'm looking through my journal and I'm having the same issue over and over and over. What do I need to change so that I'm not going through this over and over and over again? Another suggestion is, okay, so you've been honest with yourself in your journal. What would a day, a week in the life of how you want to grow look like? So, and this is not manifesting, guys. This is just saying, okay, here's where I am and here's what I'm stuck in. And here is really where I would like to be and what it looks like. Now you can identify steps to get yourself there. There is number 2. I am not a psychologist, psychiatrist, counselor, or anything else. Y'all, I never want to recommend something for your mental health. Always talk to your healthcare professional and provider about it first. But have you all heard of shadow work or shadow work journals? Now, I don't have one. They are all over Amazon. Basically, you're identifying maybe some repressed memories that were destructive to you, and you keep getting triggered, but you're really not sure why. So what this shadow work is kind of looking into your subconscious, and you may need to do this with a mental health provider to say, okay, I get really angry every time X happens, and it's not even logical. Why do I get angry? You can find a lot of free resources on the internet as well, but I think being honest with yourself, taking a look, maybe forgiving people in your past, if that's part of your shadow work, can really make a difference, get you unstuck and get you moving forward so that you can live your best life. Number 3, invest in some knowledge, y'all. We live in an age where knowledge or information, while it's not always accurate, it's free to us, y'all. If you have the internet, and you do because you're watching me, there is so much I don't know. And having a thirst for knowledge can really give you the tools when you gain that knowledge and experience to live your best life, to achieve those goals you want to achieve. So what is it you struggle with doing because you don't have the knowledge? And I'm going to give you a quick example, guys. Oh, my word. So if you've been with my channel for a while, you know I've had neck surgeries and back surgeries and all of that. So I have a very difficult time working above my head, especially putting my head back. I also am not very expert on electricity. So for 2 years, y'all, I have not had a light in my laundry room. My laundry room fluorescent fixture went And I bought a new fixture and I was going to fix it, but I was afraid. I really struggled. And so what I ended up doing this year, finally, is hiring somebody to do it. And this person who did my garden fence and changed out my doors and such was so helpful and so accommodating to let me learn what I was very afraid of. So I need more knowledge on simple home repairs, because how I addressed my laundry room issue was I had a floor lamp in there for 2 years. And even now that it's been like a month since I've had a light, I still go in there and I'm like feeling around for the floor lamp, right? All right, a final thought for you. Develop some 2024 goals. So I started by looking at what I didn't achieve in 2023. List is pretty long. Were those goals realistic? No, not all of them. I must have been feeling really full of myself today. But now is the time to go ahead and create a plan. So it's very hard to get anywhere if you don't have a plan. We need a map to get to a place we've never been to before, or GPS, right? So figuring out, okay, here's the end goal of where I want to be. So for me, I have 2 big goals that I totally failed on. One has to do with my weight. Do I weigh any less than I did last year? Why no? No, I do not. I have not stuck with it, and so I need a plan. The second area that I totally failed at is I wanted to wholesale clean out all of my house, get rid of things, donate, bless others, whatever. Did I do some of that? I did. I did a huge closet clean out because that's easy for me. However, with my mom's passing and cleaning out her apartment, I accumulated a lot of family mementos that I haven't been able to face, guys. They're in my garage in a box. So how am I going to address the room by room plan? And I do have a plan, and I'm going to be taking you along with it in 2024. So if this is your year to get organized, not that I'm disorganized, I just have too much stuff, y'all, because I've always been the keeper of the family mementos. And some things I kept, and I'm just going to be honest with y'all, because my mom would have been super disappointed in me if I would have gotten rid of it. And I'm talking things like furniture, and there's a lot. And if I can sell it or donate it or bless someone in need, that's what I'm going to do, because I no longer have that stop of, well, mom's going to be really mad if I get rid of that, right? So I'm not going to tell you just do it, because that doesn't work, y'all. You have to identify what barriers you have. And if the plan for 2023 didn't work, mine obviously didn't. It didn't so much have a good plan or a reasonable plan or a realistic plan. I've got to figure out those barriers and then identify possible solutions. If plan A doesn't work, guys, come up with B and C. There are a lot of ways that we can grow in 2024. Now, I don't want to leave you all on a negative note about everything that I didn't manage to accomplish. I thought I would share a couple successes with you. And I want to encourage you not only to identify what you didn't do, but give yourself credit for what you did do. So one of my goals for this year was to really expand my growing abilities, which I did. I had the best garden year that I have ever had. And I'm very proud of that. And I have put a lot of food by for winter. So that's going to help me financially as well. I was very faithful with YouTube, even through some ups and downs, guys. Pardon me. And I certainly had those. Well, my word, excuse me. Realizing that you've lost both parents and most of your aunts and uncles, and having a small family to start with. Family has been very important to me all my life. And so that kind of put me a little sideways, but I still have 3 months left of the year to work on some of those goals and to rejoice and enjoy what I actually did manage to accomplish. So I'm going to leave you with that. Do me a big favor if you would. Oh, YouTube, wait, I want to finish that thought. So still, even in spite of everything, I have pretty much faithfully, I'm sure I've skipped here and there, had 3 videos a week. Guys, we are up to 4,700-ish subscribers. I still have the goal of hitting 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But if I don't, y'all, I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. And I just want to continue to put out content that will help you, that will educate you, that will bless you, that maybe will entertain you a little bit, because I do have a tendency to do some amusing things sometimes. So that was also a success for me. So do me a big favor if you would, smash that like button. Now I'm going to ask you to drop me a comment below. What do you think about the concept of reinvention? Is it too woo-woo for you, or do you think you have some opportunity in 2024? And if you want to share any goals, I would love to hear them, because not that I'm going to copy you, but it might give others and myself some ideas about the way we can all be our best selves in this upcoming year. I will see you all a little later this week, but until then, be healthy, be well, be blessed, take care.